Hello teachers, this is instruction guide for primary 2 term 4 week number 2. Okay, for this week we're going to start on volume. There are 3 booklets. They are relatively easy, so I don't foresee that the students will have problem understanding these questions. Some of them have already done in class as well. Okay, so for the first booklet, first of all they need to understand what volume is. Volume is a measure of the amount of liquid in a container. You might want to use a trigger activity to think about what they have learned so far, right? To measure other things. For example, think about length, think about weight, right? That they have done in the past. These are to measure different kind of objects or items. So for volume is to measure liquid. Now, for the first part of the this booklet, right, it's quite easy to tell which one has a greater volume. So you can tell them that if the containers, they are the same size, then by looking at the height, right, of the liquid, right, or depth, right, or maybe just call it height, right, you can actually tell which container has more liquid. So in this case, you can see that A and B same volume of water. So we can either say that glass A has as much water as glass B, comparing, right? Glass A has as much, same amount. And then if you compare A and C, right? Clearly C has the greatest amount, right? Or the greatest volume. Sorry, I shouldn't use amount. So you can say that glass A has less water than glass C, or glass A has a smaller volume. The other way is true as well. Glass C has a greater volume of water than glass A, or can simply say that glass C has more water than glass A. Okay. Same with this exercise, so I don't think you have to go through a bit. You can quickly just check with them, right? Which one is the most, which one is the least. So again, ask them whether the containers are the same size, the tanks are the same size. If the tanks are the same size, then they only need to look at things like the depth here, right? Okay, this is important because they'll be dealing with containers that are of different sizes later. Now, for activity, these are quite easy to do, right? But we'll still go ahead and get them to do guided practice on page 3 and 4. All right, walk around and make sure that they have got the answer correct. Okay, so things should be quite easy for them. Okay, for this portion here, we don't have the glasses for you to do experiment, so you just have to do it in a way visually using this worksheet, right? So imagine that there are 2 glasses, glass A and glass B, and then you mark the glass A, by drawing a line around the container, and then you point to glass B, right? What's going to happen? Okay, what's going to happen here is you'll notice that the water level in glass A and glass B is the same, right? Because it's container. So in other words, the height, right, or depth is the same. So what that means is the volume of water did not change. It is the same. Okay, for this one here, you have 2 different containers. So if let's say you pour water into glass A and put a mark here, and then you pour into glass B, right, and then put the mark again, you'll notice that glass A and glass B, glass A and glass C, right, the water level is different, but the volume has not changed. All right, so you can see that glass C or glass A is higher than glass C. Now, why is that the case, right? This booklet here didn't really explain, but you should try to explain to them that, well, when the containers are different sizes, you cannot decide, okay, which one has greater volume just by looking at the height or the depth, right? In this case, glass A and glass C, they have the same volume. Okay, but you notice that the height is different, right? Because the size are different. So just because the height is different, you cannot say that they have the same volume if the containers are of different sizes. Okay, next, get them to do the guided practice on this question, right, on their own, then check the answers. After that, I think questions are rather straightforward. Okay, so I would rather that you do maybe to try them up a bit, get them to do question D and question 2A. So you notice why I chose this. Question D is because the container of the same size, right? The tanks are the same size. And then, so if the same size, you can just compare, right? Which one is more? The height, okay? Whereas for this one here, right, you can see that the size are different. The water level is the same, right? Due to A. So how do they know which one has more? Just because that the height is same doesn't mean that water is the same. The volume of water is the same, right? If the height is the same, but the water container is different, then you look at which container is bigger, right? So the bigger it is, the more water it has, right? If they are not sure, you can get them to do 2B again and then 2C, right? They are the same questions, one way or another. Okay. After that, you might want to get them to do, I think the rest of the questions are quite easy. So you may want to randomly pick perhaps B or C for them to do. Okay, containers different size. Okay, but the water level is the same. So here in that case, they compare, if the water level is the same, right? The height is the same, then they compare by the size, right? The greater the size, the more volume of water it has. Okay. All right, so quite straightforward here. And then let's see. Okay, who is correct here? All right, Nikki. Jug B has more juice than jug A. Jug A has more juice than jug B. They are of different size. The water level is different. All right, Nikki is the one that said that I cannot tell which jug has more juice by just looking. So Nikki is correct, right? Because you can't make a comparison like that because the volume of water, or rather the size of container, are different and the water level is different. Okay, all right. Then I would suggest that perhaps do one question with them, the one with the explanation one. Do question 8. Okay, do question 8. All right. Then we can move on to the next one, which is number 2. So this booklet 2 is actually quite easy. Okay, all the water from each is poured into this water, into glasses of water. So you can see the more glasses of water it needs to fill up, or the more number of water glasses of water that it can fill up, the greater it is. Okay, so how to read this? Look, 10A is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 cups of water. Tank B is equal to 2 cups. Tank C is equal to 3 cups. Therefore, you can ask them which tank has the most. 6 is more than 2 and 3, right? 2 is fewer than 6 and 3. So tank A, greatest volume. Tank B, smallest volume. Okay, quite easy. Get them to do guided practice on page 2 and 3, right? Make sure they walk around to make sure that they get the answers correct. And after that, the rest of questions I feel are quite repetitive. Perhaps just to get them to do question 6 on page 14. Right? The container looks different, but it doesn't matter. Okay, all it needs to look is how many glasses are required, right, to fill the volume, to fill the container. All right, so the more glasses, the greater it is. Okay, so yeah, so here they need just take note that some of the questions require them to compare. Okay, so quite straightforward, and I think maybe last question, right? This one requires some kind of an estimation. All glasses are of the same size. All glasses are filled with water. All the water is poured into each empty container. How many glasses are required to fill container A completely? So this is about halfway through, right? Slightly halfway or less than half, right? They should be able to see, right? Remember fractions? So that means if 5 cups are needed to fill A, to fill up to this level, how many more cups? They probably need 5 more or 6 more. Okay? All right, so, and then we move on to question booklet number 3. Okay, booklet number 3, understanding of what liters are. For this question, please have your water bottle. It could be the mirror water bottle that we have in the office ready, right? So that one, mirror water bottle is about 1.5 liter, but they can imagine, you can show them roughly how much 1 liter is. So they need to get the idea of how much 1 liter is. You might want to get other containers from the storeroom as well. For example, the pail, right? So later on you can tell them, so what do you think, right? The pail, is it more than 1 liter or not? It restricts with water. That kind of question, okay? So start off with this page that shows them how you can use a measuring beaker, right? Or container or jug, right? To measure water. So in this case, if it fills right up all the way to 1 liter, okay, reading there, then this container has 1 liter of water. If it passes 1 liter, that means that it's more than 1 liter. And if it's less than 1 liter here, right, this jug has less than 1 liter of water. Okay, then get them to discuss with them some common household items, containers, right? What is 1 liter? Milk carton, depending on what kind of milk they buy. So this kind of milk carton, by and large, is 1 liter. All right, then get them to think about the Coke bottle, the big one, right, which we have, well, it's 1.5 liter, or the pail. Then think about other items that are less than 1 liter, right? You might want to make some joke around here, right? For example, milk bottle, right? Who has milk bottle at home? Do you still use it? How many liters are there? I remember the largest size for milk bottle, I think, is 750 ml, if I remember correctly. Okay, so get them to do the guided practice. Okay, this question here, all right, get them fill up. So if this 1 liter, where should they draw the line after water is being filled? All right, so make sure that they're able to do this on their own. Okay, and then let me see, the rest are quite repetitive. These are some of the household items, so maybe you just want to quickly go to page 12 with them. Which one has less than 1 liter? Which one has more than 1 liter? Okay, or you can do page 13 as well. All right, okay, page 13 as well. So let's see, the rest here is, okay, they should be able to read this, right? So this is a bit more, I would suggest that you do page 14 with them. All right, fill in the blanks with more than and less than. So volume of jug A, right, where is it? You go by notches, right? You can see that if you, again, these are the same sizes. Okay, jug A and jug B is the same size. So you can see, you can now measure by level, isn't it? Right? Jug A has a higher level. Okay. C and D is a different size, right? Water level is different. So what can they tell that? They can look at here. 1 liter, 1 liter. Right? So if this measures up to 1 liter, this measures up to 1 liter, the volume is the same. Okay. So teach them how to read the notches as well, right? So how is this 1 liter, right? So every notch here is 100 ml, right? But they may not know 100 ml. So at the moment, what you can do is just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? This is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? This is 5. Right? So 9. Right? This much. This scale, the measuring scale is at 9. This is 5. So jug E has more. Okay? So teach them this way instead. And that's it. Right? Maybe do one more questions if you're unsure. And that's it for this week's topic. Thank you.